Good morning.
Morning.
And then,
Morning, Bart. Whenever Clara or Gabby see someone in a hood like that now, they're like, oh, it's Arrow.
they're right, aren't they? Obviously.
Yeah. I even had a dream I was Arrow last night, actually. Because they keep telling me I'm Arrow as well whenever I put my hood on. They're like, Papa, you're Arrow, you're Arrow. And then they
I
run around with
remember, I
the
remember
bows and
watching,
arrows.
I remember watching her years ago when it first came on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just wow, you can really do this. Trained by a mystic guy on an island,
Yeah.
really cool. Like, yeah, I always did that as well. Put the hoodie up, we get the big hoodie, so you look cool.
New revelation for you. Okay. You'll all find this extremely interesting, I'm sure. I've always had the idea that, I mean, yeah, bow and arrow, it's cool, right? It's cool. But there's no actual benefit over a gun, right? A gun, you can hold more bullets in it, it's quicker, it's faster, it does more damage. Like if you're that type of person doing that job, a gun is better, hands down. But now I've realized that the silences on guns that you hear in movies is complete garbage. They dampen the sound, they make it less volume, but it's still something like, I think it's about 90 decibels or something. It's still like boom, it's still a lot louder. So yes, okay, if you're playing a role like Arrow, a bow and arrow is almost completely silent when you shoot it. Whereas a silencer or any kind of, you see, James Bond with the PV7, pew, 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 pew. No, it's actually something they're basically just designed so you don't ruin your own eardrums. It's a less enough sound so it's not really bad on your ears, but it's still like hitting a snare drum or something. It's still very, very loud even with the silencer. So there you go. Now we can watch Arrow thinking that, yep, no, it makes total sense that he's using a bow and arrow.
Yeah.
Not necessarily when he actually goes to war sometimes, and it's like, no, you're not hiding in the shadows anymore. You're just going out there and battling 100 guys. Okay, now you should have maybe another gun on your hip or something, but yeah.
Yeah. You see how he contends with John Wick, doing his jujitsu with guns in his hands, up in the leg,
Yeah.
armband.
All
Yeah.
right, let's get up and do some training, shall we?
John Wick.
Quick top tip for you before we even get started. Grab yourself a ball, not a tennis ball. Don't be a wuss. Not a tennis ball. This is a solid, like, that's as hard as I can squeeze. It's got a little bit of a rubber coating, so it's a little bit soft to the touch on your skin kind of thing. But I don't know what's inside it. It's like there's a little steel ball in there or something like that. If you wait, I mean, you can use it on all sorts of different things for trigger point release, obviously. But just one specific thing: if you wake up with tightness around your lower back, right? It's such a common thing to wake up with tightness around the lower back. Now, I can't guarantee this will work for you because maybe your tightness comes from a different area. But when I wake up with a tight lower back and I try to get, do all these movements and it'll go away eventually doing that. But you take that ball and put it right into the top of your glute. And I've got this, well, they're gone now because I've already done them before. But yeah, right in there from the side of your hip, like there's the bone, right? Just in where it goes soft in there. And at that level, all across the side of your glute, through here, all through your glutes. And I just rolled on the wall each side for probably, I don't know, 1 minute on each side. And then just went, whew. And that whole lower spine was like, felt like I was 20 years old again, you know? So yeah, that might help you as well. It's such an easy thing to do. Just find that little source trigger point, and a lot of the time your tension in your lower back is actually coming from your glutes. If you can release that, then your whole back just, yeah, feels so wonderful. And of course you can apply that to a lot of other areas in your body. Sometimes I'll have a bit of a stuck shoulder, maybe there's something happening in here, but I'll find a trigger point in the back of my shoulder, like through here somewhere, and go, oh, there's a spot, sink onto that for 30 seconds, and then the shoulder's completely freed up. So getting a ball like that and just fiddling around, you can't really do yourself any harm, so just stick it places, roll it around, think, oh, if it really hurts, so long as you're not like putting it on your eyeball or something, generally speaking, if there's a really, really sore spot, it's a trigger point, and you need to relax that through, just sink into it, and it'll loosen up the rest of your body. So you'll learn a bit about your own body as well, you know. Okay, let's move. Opening your hands out to the sides, bending the knees, standing up, onto the toes, and down. Same again, bend the knees, standing up, stretching, up, 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 and down. The front. In breath up, out breath down. Open and close. Opening up your spine. Pulling your arms back, palms and shoulders, sticking your bum out, chest up, head up, in breath, and then out breath. In breath, out breath. In breath, out breath. In breath, out breath. Little wriggle. Okay, backs and shoulders. Sink down, either 45 degrees. Remember, don't stress yourself out too much. So if you're finding the 90 degrees too difficult, come back up to 45, or any angle that feels a little more comfortable. You want to be pushing yourself, especially in the shoulders, but don't strain yourself. So coming down, bit of an opening and stretch through here. Relax your back. Straighten your back, breathe in. Open your arms out. Relax, breathe out. Same again. Relax, breathe out. This time lift your hands to the rear. Relax, breathe out. Again. Relax, breathe out. Up at 45 degrees like a Y shape in front of you. So your hands are to the corners and down. Same again. And down. Straight up in front of you this time. And down. Again. And down. This time out to the side again. Forward. Backward. Forward. Backward. In breath up. Out breath down. In breath up. Out breath down. Link your fingers at the rear. Pull your shoulders up and over. Relax your spine. Release your hands. Roll your spine up. Legs. Simple one first. Just warming up the legs in that lunge. Up and down, forward and back, closing and opening. Get into your own rhythm. Just feel all the muscles moving, especially the glutes. Lengthening and stretching through that back leg. Switch sides. Okay, my personal favorite, sinking down, walking forward. Put your knees on the ground if you need to, or keep them up. Just holding that position. It's such a simple movement, the plank. So simple to do, yet strengthens your body so well. Obviously, if that's all you're going to do, then do the back plank and the side planks as well. I went to see Cher live in Las Vegas when Fran and I were in Las Vegas. She came out on stage, she was running around at 70 years old, and she said, "Well, I've just come out of backstage and did a 7-minute plank. What have you done this morning?" Or something like that. It's just nice when someone of that age is still keeping herself really, really strong and fit. Okay, bring that foot up. So your front foot is to the side of your palms and turned out at 45 degrees, facing out to the corner. Sinking down, point that rear toe, lengthen through that back leg, and sink through that front leg. Just wriggle it around. Turn to the side, to your front leg. Feeling that stretch come down through your side. Back to the front. If you want to lower it down further, you can drop your elbows onto the ground. Really open up that front leg. And then coming up, spinning it around to the other side, standing onto the ball of the foot of that standing leg here. Lengthening through here. Again, I'm moving around. Moving the other leg just wherever it needs to move. It's not this leg that I'm focusing on, but you know, I can't move that much if I leave this foot in the same position. So I'm going to move this leg around to let me move that front leg. And I'm going to bend that front knee as well while stretching it, so I can get a different stretch depending on whether the knee is straight out. You feel the stretch more in behind the knee. Bend the knee, you'll feel the stretch come closer up to the glutes. And then crawl your way forward. You don't have to stay super low, but just stay as low as you can. So think, okay, I'm going to crouch down, I'm going to bend that knee, and try to stay as low as you can. Lengthen that rear foot out. So again, point your toe at the rear, and lengthen that down. Turn to the side, feel that stretch coming down through here. Turn back to the front. Lower your body if you wish. Coming back up. Springing it round, and again stretching into that front hamstring. And then just pushing your bum up to the middle, so you're in just a large, wide squat with your hands on the grounds. So you can put these here just to support your weight a little bit if it's too much pressure on your legs. And then just stand up. Okay. I'm going to do some small sense out this morning. Tomorrow morning's class, remember, we're going to fiddle around with a few bits and pieces from the second third. So Sunday mornings will be our second third day. But remember, Sunday morning this week and next will be 7 a.m. because I've got stuff on those days. So I had to move the class to 1 hour earlier. All right, let's just drill through the small sense out a few times to begin with. So nice and slow. Remember, small sense out can't be done slow because of the swiveling. I mean, some elements of it can be done slower, but when you've got a swivel, that's as slow as I can do it. Because I need momentum to get the feet across. I can't, it's not right to do it like that. Even if you can do it like that, when I say it's not right, it's not because it's too difficult or something like that. I have mentioned this before, but I'll just mention it again in case some people haven't heard. When I'm sinking down through my heels in the small sense out, with all of this swiveling that I'm doing, if I'm standing in like a very natural, balanced position with my weight towards the heel, but naturally there is some pressure on the balls of the feet. Okay, when you're standing in a balanced position, there is some weight on the balls of your feet. Now, if I pick up the balls of my feet, watch what happens. I'm going to tip forward because there was weight there and I didn't move my center before I lifted it up. So, but did you see what happened? When I picked the toes up from here, watch. Okay, I'll try to make it exact. See, it took a while before I started falling, didn't it? It was like, and then you start falling, okay? So it's in that moment that you swivel. You do not do this. See how now I'm pushing my weight back in order to keep the toes up for a longer time. That's not what we should be doing. You'd be completely off balance doing something like that as far as the fighting principles are concerned. Even though you're not going to probably swivel most of the time in a real fight, for reasons I've explained many times before. But still, it's about learning where your balance is, where your center of gravity is. So whether you're just kind of moving your feet or swiveling, doesn't matter what you're doing with your feet, you still want to be in a balanced position. And tipping back right on the edge of your heel by leaning backwards and lifting your toes in order to control and put them down slowly, it's not what we want. That's why the movement must be da-da. So in that position, I can easily go, See, I can pick the toes up, and hold them for about that much time before my body starts tipping forward. So my toes hit the ground again before that forward momentum of my body's center of gravity starts tipping me forward. But as I do that, I simply go, hop, boom. See how quick, see how little amount of time, even doing it slowly like this, the toes are off the ground. Because remember, you've got that little bit of weight shift first, tiny bit of weight shift starts, and now da-da, 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 up, down, up, down. See, so you should feel like your center of gravity isn't moving, you see? Rather than something like this, tipping backwards, moving your center of gravity back. So yeah, never do it slow. That's as slow as we're allowed to do the small sensao, which means, of course, when we do the upper arms, that's the slowest pace you can do it at. Never do it like, slow, like the slow form. Okay, so we're going to do it at that pace a few times. Mirror, mirror. Let's go that way first, okay? See, bits like that, you can slow down a little bit more than what you would. It's just the swiveling that has to maintain a certain speed. You might have noticed there that a few times I've gone, what? See, so that bit had to be fast, because that was a swivel. But then the rest of it, I wasn't doing it this slow, but if you wanted to for some reason, you could do this part completely slow if you so wished. If you wanted to just really think about, what's happening here? So there'd be nothing wrong, is what I'm saying. I don't usually do it that slow, but there would be nothing wrong with doing that. It's only the parts which require momentum that you can't do slowly. Okay, let's go the other side. Do one more time each side with me facing the same direction as you. And then we'll have a look at a couple of movements in repetition, have a look at some details and so on. Okay, so we'll go that way. Other side. Okay, we're going to start off with a bit of repetition. And then I want you to all have a think, everyone who's here live. I'm going to pick the first move, and then I want you all to pick a movement anywhere in the small sansao that you struggle with, that you really feel just, you might not have a specific question about it, but what move do you struggle with? Which move just feels odd? Just doesn't flow as nice as the others or whatever. And then I'll go over that in some extra detail and maybe come up with something. Of course, if you have a specific question about that posture as well, feel free to ask that. But yeah, everyone come up with a posture. And then what I'll do is we'll hear everyone's posture. And if maybe two people have the same posture, we'll pick that one. If everyone's got a different posture, then I'll just have to pick one at random. We won't have time to do like a posture for every person because I think there's about, I don't know, five, 6 people following live. But yeah, just have a think about that as we're going through. Which posture do you struggle with? You should already know which posture you struggle with by practicing your small sansao each day. But I'm going to pick the first one. So I'm going to pick these movements. Okay? Bong. One. This is something, I don't think I've covered this since we started this new, since all the new people have registered. So I did cover it sometime a few months back, but I'll mention it again. So some of you may be hearing a repeat here. The small sansao, you've got to go through the whole form. And obviously, if you learn it absolutely from scratch, you should know this as we're doing on the Tuesday nights. I'm taking you through from scratch. So if you're following those classes, you'll be learning this as you go for each posture. But it's something I realized a little while ago. That people were, well, it was both the teacher's fault and the student's fault for, misinterpreting things, but also not really explaining things exactly correctly. Because sometimes we show a posture We might say, okay, so you're doing this posture, bang, see there's the back fist, there's this, and you're showing them the posture. But in some ways, by showing them that you've got to show them the posture, but at the same time, you've got to make sure that you know how to spring out of that. It's like, any of you who have learnt the Yang Lu Chan form, okay, you all would have known, you would have heard this phrase before. When doing the Fa Jing movement, whether it be this one or that one, you don't, the Fa Jing, the movement, the explosivity does not stop there. You don't go da 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 da, boom, and stay in that position. You go da 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 da, boom. There's the settling of that strike. Just like this one, we don't bah. We don't stay there. We go bah. There's always a comeback from any strike that you do. So in taking it, and there are a bit fancy, slightly fancy strikes there, but just boom, a simple punch, right? Whom. You bring your hand back, don't you? Not only do you bring your hand back, most of the time you want to move your head, especially if you miss. If you're doing a punch and you feel like, okay, if I hit him, boom, I'm still going to bring the hand back, but I'm probably going to come straight through with something else. But if I throw that punch and he ducks to the side and I go, whoop, you see? When my hand recoils, because I missed, I'm going to, okay, where am I going? Because I don't want him to be able to hit me. Because chances are, you throw a punch at me, if I happen to duck it to the side, you see, probably, boom, I'm coming through with a counter instantly if I know what I'm doing. So you want to be on the move, make it more difficult. It's quite hard to hit a moving target. You get used to your bag work, boom, 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 mitt work, da-da-da. You feel, oh yeah, I'm the best puncher in the world, man. And then put some gloves on and put a real human being in front of you who knows how to move a little bit, and you're going to miss a lot, even against someone who's not that good. The first time you do it, you're going to be like, shit, what? I keep missing my target, what the hell? And of course, when you miss, when you're not used to it, you lose your balance. Okay, so we'll have a look at this principle in this movement. So what's happened over the years, this is my realization in the small sansao, is that people do the posture. So let's say this one, they go punch. There's the finish of the posture. Now, oh, okay, what's the next move? Earl said it's a circle, back, and then punch. Circle, back, and punch. Double pung. From the strike, your left hand lifts up as you sit back, you open your center, and then you strike down. So you do double pung, 1, lift up, 2. So that's correct. That is what you should be doing. But where's your brain saying the move ends, and where's your brain saying the next move starts? That's what's important. So I do that double pung move. I go, wah. Where's the punch? Oh, here he's going to hit me. Boom. When he throws that punch, I've got to move directly into that next technique. I do not want to be standing here and then think, okay, here comes the punch. Now I've got to lift my arm and open my center whilst he's throwing that punch down here. I'm going to be punched. So what I'm saying is now, okay, don't get me wrong. You're not supposed to stop. The form should flow. You see, there should be no stops. But if there were, you need to know where it would be if you were to stop. So here's a good example. Let's say I'm throwing the punches for you, right? Boom, boom, boom. I do my low ones. Boom, boom, you do your back fist. Here comes my double pung strike, or your block to do double pung. Bang, right? From that movement, you do your double pung. So I try to evade backwards a bit like this. You do your double pung. Boom. Let's assume you've hit me, because in the small sensei, when you first learn it, at least, you land your strikes. Boom, you've hit me. Now, when does my next punch come? My next punch doesn't come as you're hitting me. I've got to go, kaboom, you've hit me. Then I step in with my punch. Therefore, you should have the time to go, wow, there's the bop. That's where you've hit me. As my head goes, oh, thank you very much for punching me in the face, boom, that's where the sit back ready, the load, the settle happens. So, as an example, if me as the puncher, quite often when you're doing small sensei, your puncher will forget what moves come next. Or maybe they're just being a bit slow for some reason. So maybe I come through here, boom, you do double pung, bang, and then I go like, oh, that's right, yep, bang, and I throw that next strike. So that's kind of equivalent to someone standing in front of you, right? You're standing there, but you're just out of range. You're not up in each other's faces. He's out of range. I've still got to step in to hit you. So in which case, it's kind of quite realistic, you see, because if I'm standing there ready to throw a punch, you don't know when I'm going to throw that punch. I've got to step in and throw that punch. So what I'm saying is your waiting position is very, very important. For double pung, it would be, come on, yeah, you got to throw that punch down. See, maybe I'm helping them, reminding them what punch to throw. But this is the position I should be waiting in. Never wait for your opponent in this position. This is not a good position. I'm front weighted. Front weighted, not a good guard neutral position. I'm front on, again, not a good guard neutral position. And I've got my hands both sort of in here in the front. This is much better, you see? Now I feel protected. So a striking position is not a good guard position. In general, there are exceptions to that rule, but as a general rule. So let's have a look at these ones. Same thing. I've done my little block back. I've done my punch. Bang. I'm not going to stay there. I'm going to stay here. See? Again, a little bit of sit back, a little bit of open, the center, and a little bit of drop. That's why there's a circle on this one. Okay? So we do not want to be doing this. See, that's just my arms. My arms are dropping, leaving my face and neck completely open. The circle, see that? The hands just retract from that punch, bang, the hands retract to about neck height. So, I mean, there is a little bit of drop in the hand, but it's just back to here. It's not like down here. So I'm still very well in that position. Neck height is pretty much the best overall guard position you can have. Some people prefer a higher guard, but then you are more open to the low, to the takedowns, things like that. So generally speaking, when you're taking into account all different fighting principles, not just punching and kicking or something like that, yeah, sort of chin level, neck level is the best thing. Of course, you figure out what your best guard is for you once you start fighting, but that's a general good starting place. So yeah, from that punch, you don't pause there. If there's a pause, it's what's gonna see, front leg. You see, that's ready to take any kicks that might happen. This is ready to catch that hand. I'm in a very nice neutral position. I can go in any direction from this stance. So when that punch comes in here at that angle to the side of my jaw, I can catch it and attack his eyes. You see? That left hand, of course, is sweeping across the eyes this way. It's not a poke, it's a slice across the eyes. You're much more likely to catch someone in the eyes when you slice rather than poke, because when something comes straight towards your eyes like that, you tend to see it coming. You're less likely to see it coming when it's coming from the side. Okay, so punch, there's the forward weightedness, fist going forward, bang. Now as it recoils, open your center, slightly sit back, that's your stop position. One, bah. Oh, what's going to happen next? Oh, here it comes. One, bah. There's your stop. One, bah. As I say, I'm not saying you should always stop, but it's a good programming, because if you, this is one of the main lessons in flow. It's very easy to flow. It's difficult to flow and maintain the correct intent without understanding the movement. So you can go, okay, yeah, flow, flow, but you're just flowing. Flowing is useless without the correct intent. So I know that when when I don't stop, see, there's no stoppages. But I know in my brain, there, that's where the punch, that's where I'm visualizing the punch coming through. Wah, bah. See? That's relaxing. That's attacking. Bah, relax. Oh, what's happening? There's the next move. Bah, settle. Next move. Rather than, see, look, I went from this position, I went, oh no, here comes the punch. Why is my hand going down and that way if the punch is over there? Don't be doing this movement if there's a punch coming through. If for some reason, if somehow he was able to throw that punch, like if his timing was that good, that I was coming forward and his punch was already coming through, I'd probably come down into a completely different position. I wouldn't have the time to do that. If someone catches you out that precisely, you won't have time for a perfect counter, such as this would be regarded as a perfect counter to his straight punch. So you've been caught, you know, he's done his move exactly at the right time. So just at the end of your punch, he's throwing that. So that's where you're just going to roll the shoulder over and protect your head with your shoulder and maybe the other hand a little bit here. And again, by sort of ducking back and then, okay, bang, then you're back into the fight, you see. They're what we call OS defenses. Okay, right, so let's try those a little bit. Settle, wake up. Punch, settle, wake up. So it's only when you turn into the movement. That's when you think about the technique at hand. So because you're in a perfectly balanced position, you can do the best movement you might be able to do, rather than just, just doing doing something the best you can kind of thing. Totally different scenario. And see the circle, see? Creates a little nice circular movement. So the circle, it's not like it's some special technique to do a circle. The circle is just a byproduct of sitting back and dropping your body. So you go, boom, just by sitting back, and then coming back, it's just a byproduct. So it's not like, oh, I have to circle my hands to make the power come out or something like that. It's just that when you drop back and drop your weight, your hands come down with you. Then when you do the next part, well, of course, he's punching you in the face, so your hand has to lift up as it comes over, in which case it's going to do a circle. So it's just a byproduct. Okay, let's drill it. Bang. 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 Notice the backhand. See how tight it is each time? Right? It's not something like this. It's not out from the body. No space. Keep it tucked in. The whole idea of that technique, you should have seen the technique at some point when someone's doing it with a partner, but the whole point of the technique is he's throwing that punch and I'm just catching it and letting it go past. So I've still got that protection. I am still catching it and letting it go past. I'm not just moving out of the way. Just like that, like a boxer would, because there's more risk in a street fight. So you have your hand up as well. But yeah, it's definitely pulling it in. So his punch should feel like, oh, it keeps going. You know, he's not feeling like he's getting his hand pushed to the side or something like that, because you want him coming onto you. That will better keep his eyes open for your counter-strike. Half-life. Half-life counter-strike? Anyone, I was going to say anyone old enough to remember that, but in some cases I could say, is there anyone young enough to remember that? You've got to be in a certain age bracket to remember that. And when you get that, it just, look, oh, it just makes the whole movement, it just comes alive when you get that little circle happening, but from the whole body. When you're doing the posture, like, you know, when you first learnt it kind of thing, you're just going bang, bang, something like this. Okay, that's okay if you just learnt it. You know, you're not going to get everything right at the beginning, but it's just a bit dead. Once you can feel it the correct way, you try to do something like this, it just feels horrible. Ooh. 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 Oh. Boom. Boom. See? So that boom, that punch. Sometimes we throw a punch from a position of confidence, like from a position of, I'm this, like 90% chance this is going to land. So in which case your intent is usually, boom, it's usually come through with something else. But if it's more of a preemptive, maybe I've done that first strike, maybe he evaded that, maybe he pulled his face back, so I'm just punching now. He's in a relatively neutral position. So there is a good chance he could evade that punch. And if ever you feel it's kind of a 50-50, there's a good chance he will evade it. You don't want to be coming whack straight through with something else, because if he's in a 50-50 position, like a nice neutral position, he could very easily counter that, in which case you walk straight into another punch. So that's where sometimes your attacks will be wah, wah. You see? You sort of throw it out, boom, and even from there, if it lands solidly, it's like you're throwing the punch, but with awareness that things could go wrong, kind of thing. You're not just assuming, oh, boom, 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 everything's going to go my way, kind of thing, because it won't. So if you miss, you're in a much better position for whatever he's going to counter you with. But if you land it, sure, there's a nanosecond longer that my follow-up is going to take compared to if I'd gone whack and kept coming forward. But the risk factor is too high to do that. So much better in this case to sort of throw it out, boom, and from there, what I can still, boom, even that front hand, you see, I can grab the shirt, I can grab the shoulder, grab the arm, I can do all sorts of things with that hand as I come through with something else. Or I could even, boom, oh, it landed, boom, and now, boom, boom, with a good old 1-2 coming after that. Okay. What are your, did anyone come up with some moves that you're really struggling with that just make no sense to you?
Well, for me, pretty much it was this one, so it was good, good exercise.
So we already covered your one.
Yeah.
Excellent. What about you, Maya? What ones are you struggling with?
From the double punk, when you go up, can you see me? And down.
Oh yeah, the other one I was just sort of referencing to before.
Yeah, but on the left side, I can do it on the right side.
Okay.
Slap down.
Okay.
And then the right side is fine, but the left side, I always get it. My hands are always in the wrong.
Okay. Okay. All right. That's a good one to do. Any other requests? No? Everyone else is sort of like equally difficult. They're all difficult. Just pick anyone.
I haven't done it for so long. I forgot. I've forgotten loads of it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I haven't done it for years. So
all right then. Well,
my one would be the one when you go down.
Yeah.
Up and do. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, let's do that then. Let's do that one Maya was just talking about, and we'll give that a go to finish up. Okay, so I've already briefly mentioned a little bit about that posture because I was just using that as a reference point before this one. So we've got our double pung. Okay, We're okay with double pung, the transition. So what's going to happen here, I'll just show you first how to pull out, how to pull back. Okay, so we're here like so. We've got the strike, or the control with that hand, control into his biceps, and boom, there's your back fist. Remember, it's a vertical back fist like that, going forward and just a fraction of down, not a down, but just kind of that thing. So what's going to happen from here? The body's going to do something very similar to the previous one. The only difference is we don't drop the body in this case. You open the body and you slightly sit back, but you don't drop the body down. In the form, it's just giving you different variations. Obviously, when would I do this and when would I not do that? That's up to you in a fight situation as to what you feel is happening. Like what positioning is he in? Do you feel a bit more comfortable being a bit ducked, or do you feel a bit more comfortable being up? You know, you've got to learn to feel that. So in the small sensei, it just gives you the different options at random times. So this one's giving you that option. This one, whoa, you see, when I spring back, I'm in a very much upright kind of position. I'm not dropping down. So what the hands have to do from here, so there's my sort of compressed that and back fisted him across the jaw or the neck, like so. So I'm going to sit back and literally just bring my left hand to the side of my temple here. My right hand almost stays where it is. It just opens and it just stays there, you see. It just turns down and opens. So I've got this kind of, you know, one hand forward, one hand back. A pretty standard sort of guard. Again, some people like to keep both hands right in, some people like to keep both hands right out, but a general sort of beginner's starting point to then find your own guard is one hand a little bit forward of the other. Okay, and that's going to be your front leg, of course. I don't think this feels a bit awkward. I wouldn't do that. Okay, so there's your posture. Sit back, open that right hand and just roll it down and bring this one back so it's just like over your eye kind of thing. So it's a fairly high guard on that one, not down at the neck, okay? Boom. Let's just practice that. Double pung. What? Coil it back. Double pung. Coil it back. You should be mirroring me, so Maya, you'll already be on your left side, the difficult side you were doing. Boom! See? When you do it fast, it just springs straight back into that position. Let's try the other side. A little bit of snap on it. See, feel it spring back. Boom! And back. Boom! And back. Boom! And back. Be careful when you do this one. I've seen a lot of people, one of two things happen. They either go boom and stay here without the spring back, but they're nicely planted in the front leg when they do the strike. But then when I tell them, no, you've got to spring back, then they make a different mistake. They never sink into the front leg in the first place. So they kind of go like that, you see? Just putting the foot out and then coming back. So that you're never really truly doing that strike. That strike still has to have the intent, like you've got to cover some distance. You've got to go out and get him, you see? So don't just boom, there. You've got to think, wow, go and get him into your front leg, reach that hand out, and then let it spring back into the previous position. Okay, let's go back to this side again. So this will be you guys doing your left side as per requested. So there's your load ready position. This is up, this is on your neck height. Now you're going to just do your normal swivel, nothing special there. That's the same as all the other footwork. Drop your right hand down and drop your left hand down in front of it. So that's chopping down. I mean, I assume you know the technique. So you're hitting sort of with the knife edge there, cutting down, and it digs, it scoops on contact. You're not just hitting clunk with the knife edge, nor are you hitting with the back of the hand. You're hitting with the knife edge, but it digs. You'll feel that when you get it into the crease of the arm, because his arm is like that, so it's bent. So when it hits there and digs, it just it has more of that effect of destabilizing their body, buckling their structure. So again, from here, just swivel. See how that move should be very direct. Hence the reason the hand has to start here. If you go boom and maybe back to a guard like this, all right, nothing wrong with holding your guard like that if that's your thing. But from this position, I don't feel like I can do that posture. It's going to become more of a pumping action, not the technique I'm trying to do. Now I still feel like I have to lift the arm first. So to do that technique, your hand has to be up. Therefore, you're assuming your hand was in an upper guard position. Maybe you just took a block up here, so maybe your hand was up anyway as a byproduct of doing something else, and you can strike down. Your hand has to start in an upward position. Okay, so your front hand is yang, your rear hand is yin. You're going to cross your arms, keep your front hand on top, literally keep the hands as they are, and just keep that hand on top so that your wrists cross. The right hand stays yin, the left hand stays yang. Swivel your body to the other side and pull your palms onto your belly. Okay? From there, just pull them onto your belly as you swivel. Now push them back out again. Don't move them. Don't change the positions or anything like that. Just push them back out. Come back to this position. You've just struck down. Slide them together and tuck them in as you swivel onto your belly. Now the only thing you're going to do as you pump them out, the top hand, because we're mirroring each other, I won't say lefts and rights. Your top hand is yang, your bottom hand is yin. When you push them out, just change them to their opposite. Now my bottom hand is yang, my top hand is yin. See? So you get this kind of thing happening. Yin, yang, change, change. Okay, one more time from here. Cross it in, tuck it in, and boom. Now, if you can notice that my right shoulder is down. So I'm compressed on my rear side. So that'll be your left side that I'll be compressing. Okay, so on this side, you see I'm compressed on again, the rear leg, the rear side of my core here. I'm a bit compressed. I'm not flat and neutral here. I'm a little bit compressed on that side. When I swivel across, I compress on the other side. This will help when you have the punch thrown at you to align your arms correctly for that incoming punch. If you're straight, you won't get the correct alignment. So you see how now, when I do the movement, the left fingers are kind of a bit pointing down now. They're not like this, pointing out this way. Left fingers are slightly pointing down, right fingers are slightly pointing up into that position. Let's try it again from here. Remember, front hand stays on top, swivel across. Now just push your arms out. Boom. A lot of the time people think, oh, I gotta do something more. It's very simple once you get it right. What? Lead hand, tuck it in on the top of your rear hand. Swivel across, push them out. Just push them out as they are. The compression on the right side of your body will cause the angle to change a little bit, but they stay as they are. See my right, but this bottom elbow is a little dropped. The top elbow is a little bit that way because of that compression, like so. Then, of course, to finish the posture off and go into Qi, well, it's no different now than if you were in rollback in the Yang Lu Chan's form. It's just that your hands are crossed. So all you have to do is your top hand, just slide it back, and your bottom hand slides a bit forward. So they come to that same attachment point as you do in the slow form. That's happening as you're stepping forward. And now, just like the slow form, there's not really any difference there. Well, of course you're going to do it a bit quicker and so on, but yeah. So one more time from here. 1, suck it in, bah. Place the hands as you step, and forward. All right. That's all we've got time for today, guys. So, did that help you, Maya?
Yes, because it went step by step.
Good.
Yeah. On the right side, I think I just naturally learned it.
Yeah.
Just,
Okay.
oh, I got it.
Yeah.
But then the left side was like,
Yeah.
why did you do it? So
Yeah.
step by step, it's great.
Yeah. That's why I say, like, to truly understand a movement, sometimes you'll do something and you'll just learn it and you'll just see it and go, oh yeah, I get that. You know it. You don't need the whole breaking down bit by bit. But if you just break it down yourself, bit by bit, I'll do that myself with forms that I never even teach. And I'll say, okay, what would I say if I was teaching this? Okay, you're going to do this at this time and break it into elements. And then when I do the move it again with just flow, it works even better. So I feel that the best way that you can learn something is to understand it from a subconscious level where your body just does it kind of instinctively, but then also understand it from an intellectual level and say, what is actually happening there? When is my hand there compared to where my weight is, and these kind of things? Because it also helps you to realize when potentially you're making a mistake in a movement. Like when you just flow through something very, very quickly, you might not notice your hand is dropping. I saw the video that I sent you the other day of Fran and I doing some pad work. You might not have noticed, but I watched the video and I noticed myself, what was I doing? We were doing the sort of the strike, hook the back of the head on the one mitt and then come through with the elbow, that technique we were using on the 2 Thai pads. And I think it was my left hand, my first strike, which is always the common one to happen. So we're always saying, what am I always saying in class? Keep your hands up, don't let it roll. But even after all my years of training, and yeah, I mean, I see people like Muhammad Ali making this mistake, so don't feel bad if you make some of these mistakes. Sometimes the world's greatest fighters, when they're doing something fast and under pressure sort of thing, they will still make that mistake. But yeah, I noticed on the video afterwards that as I came through for my second strike, my left hand was dropping because my brain was saying, get ready for that big power movement. And that's the problem. As soon as your brain says, come on, get as much power as you can, you start making mistakes instead of just bomb, 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 and keeping your hands, up around where they should be. So yeah, analyzing things intellectually can really help you to iron out those bad habits that might be in there. And of course, do your bag work, film yourself, do your bag work, or sparring and things like that. Sparring, you don't have to so much because every time you drop your hand, you get punched in the face. So you know you made a mistake. But the bag doesn't punch you in the face, but you will often drop your hands down. So yeah. All right, guys. Well, thank you very much for joining me. Same time tomorrow for Young Lu Chan's second third.
Cool.
Have a great day.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Right.
See you later, guys.